Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kids Show, and today we have to talk about IGN because can't spell ignorance without IGN, and IGN proves this sentiment as often as they possibly can. Now, personally, it's no secret that I absolutely hate gaming journalistic publications, especially the mainstream of them all, like your Kotakus, your Polygons, your IGNs, your GameSpot. I think all of these journalistic websites are compromised in some way, shape, or form, and for some reason they still have a strong foothold in the industry. But yesterday, IGN posted a video that they clearly thought was going to go over reasonably well with the community, I guess. They even tried to be funny about it. And boy, did that go wrong. Because it just goes to show how truly pretentious the pricks at IGN truly are. But guys, let's just watch the video together and I'll give my basic thoughts on what they're saying. So overall, the sentiment is asked, why does IGN typically give games a 7 out of 10? Now, let's see what they have to say about this one.
Why does IGN give so many 7s?
Okay, let's talk about this. It boils down to the things we choose to review. Let me ask you this. How many games do you think were released in 2022?
I don't know, like 200 or 300?
Not even close. There were over 10,000 games that came.
It's insane how this individual was so foolish as to think only 200 to 300 games come out per year. If you know anything about indie, man, if you know anything about I'm talking not just about small dev teams, but about that one person that's making a video game. There are so many of those people out there, and shout out to them, man. That is a huge endeavor, and these people aim to bring something to the table that they find amazing, fun, and unique. But yeah, thousands of games come out on Steam alone every year.
Came out on Steam in 2022.
Dude, I don't even think I could name that many games, period.
Exactly. There's no way that IGN can review all those games. So we try to focus our attention on the games that people actually care about. And we figure this out by a lot of different factors, like how many views the trailer got, if we think it looks cool, if it's trending on Google, if it has a lot of players on Steam. I could go on.
So, I mean, in this sense, it does make sense. Like, they're not going to waste time reviewing the most obscure of video games that most people don't really have much interest in. So yeah, you do look for the most popular, trailers, the things that garner the most interest, because at the end of the day, all resources are finite. Whether a socialist tells you otherwise, that's just the reality of the situation. IGN has limited workers that have limited time. So what will make IGN benefit the most? Well, they're going to naturally review the most popular of games and work their way down until, well, all their resources are used up. And that completely makes sense. I understand on that front. But continuing forward.
But then why are the scores always a 7 or above?
So if people are actually interested in the game and it looks good, most of the time it ends up being good, which is...
I really don't know how to feel about that. There have been so many games, especially on the AAA level, that have come out. We thought they were going to be good. But essentially everything that these devs show us about some of these games turn out to be a complete line of bullshit. They'll show us this slice of gameplay that runs absolutely perfectly. And then when we get it in hand, the entire game just runs like absolute crap. Bugs, glitches, fundamentals being completely ignored. These companies are masters of selling you on a lie. So yeah, most of the time, I can't say for sure whether a game that you're interested in is inherently going to be good. And even sometimes we ourselves try to convince ourselves that the games that we're super hyped about are good. I mean, I tried to convince myself that Cyberpunk was good. And, I came to the conclusion after playing it long enough that it wasn't. It wasn't. I wanted it to be good so bad. I said to myself, well, with The Witcher 3, it had bugs and glitches, but I didn't encounter that many. My personal experience was better than most. So maybe Cyberpunk 2077 will be the same way. And then upon playing it, putting those hours into it, I came to realize, no, this is an absolute disaster. And I have fundamental issues with how websites like IGN review games, because they'll completely ignore the unoptimized trash that ends up going, to these storefronts and being released to the general public. They don't take points away for that. I feel as though if they did, that their reviews would be more accurate. If your games are broken as hell, they should have points deducted. So therefore, most of the games, or at least AAA games, would probably review poorly, especially this year, given how absolutely god-awful the performance and optimization of the mass majority of AAA releases have been. It is insane that Dead Island 2, a game that's been in development hell, that's been in the hands of many companies before it actually released, is one of the most well-optimized games this year in comparison to just about everything else, sad to say. But we continue.
Is our definition of a 7. 7 means good. Of course, there are exceptions, Gotham Knights, but think about
Yeah, Gotham Knights definitely. Gotham Knights probably deserved even lower than what it got, because that is absolute trash.
it this way. If you've never heard of the game, we probably wouldn't review it, and it probably isn't that good anyway.
That's a real.
How do you have this absolute elitist mindset? Realistically speaking, the games that have the most marketing, that have, the biggest, grandiose companies pushing them and whatnot, are the ones that are going to get the most attention. It's not like Billy, who's making this first-person shooter on his own with no money. He's essentially the average, everyday person like you or me, but actually understands fundamental video game development. The chances that Billy over there is going to manage to get his game into the spotlight, as opposed to PlayStation, who can easily get their game into the spotlight, even if the game that PlayStation may be pushing may be fundamentally worse than Billy's game over here. That is just the reality of the situation. It really just depends on how much money and how willing a company is willing to push said product, which puts it forward into the limelight of the general public. So the thought that, oh, if you haven't heard of this game, then it's probably not good anyway, is absolutely insane. The shame is that I'm sure there's so many games that come out every single year that are genuinely, fundamentally damn good games, and I'll never even know the name of them. And that to me is disappointing. That's why I do like to indulge in indie gaming. That's why I do like to try. I do like to try them, or at least look into them. I do general research to try and discover new, smaller scale games, because sometimes they are the most innovative or interesting or willing to take a chance than your standard AAA release. But to say that, if you haven't heard of it, then it probably isn't good anyway, it's so elitist, it's so disgusting, it's so disrespectful especially to the small developers that are desperately putting in all their effort and not seeing any reward for it whatsoever, just seeing their own piece of art be put together over time, all over these many years of their hard work, where they don't deal with crunch. They choose to put themselves through the crunches that they put themselves through for their art, and literally to undermine them just because they don't have the money to put their game into the limelight like all these major mega corporations do. This is such a piece of shit mindset. Not for nothing, IGN. The fact that you thought that this was cool to even say, before taking it down, mind you, because they did end up deleting this off of Twitter from what I could tell. So they realized, oh damn, this was actually kind of an ugly, ugly post. You deserve all the flack that you get for this one. And this dumbass says, oh, that was a really good explanation, like the bobblehead retard that he is.
Really good explanation. I give that explanation a 7.
No!
Why does
And they actually tried to make this out to be funny. But it's really not funny. It's not funny that you completely undermine the mass majority of developers that are out here, because the mass majority of them will never see their game be thrust into the limelight, even the ones that are truly deserving of being so. And what I find from a lot of relatively competent indie games, even ones that nobody knows, is that they are competent. They are fundamentally competent. And a lot of AAA games are not fundamentally competent. It's sad that there's so many AAA games that do not deserve any spotlight at all, actually sadly get that spotlight, and it eats into the time and the possibility of fundamentally damn good games getting that opportunity, getting that chance, getting that acknowledgement and support and discovery that I'm sure so many developers out there really want. I'm the type of person that honestly, and maybe this is a flaw in my character, but you know what? I'm willing to embrace that flaw. I'm willing to give a small indie game the benefit of the doubt before I give a AAA game. And that's particularly because, well, the AAA game that tends to have like the massive development team behind them, the massive mega corporation. I have high standards for these companies because, well, they have all the ability, all the capability to make a grandiose game or a damn good game, whereas the small indie team or the one man or woman that chooses to make a game out of passion, well, they don't really have much at their disposal. They have to work with what they have, with the limited resources that are allotted to them. And I guess in that way, I do like to give indie games the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps it's a flaw, but you know, it's a flaw that I'm personally willing to live with. But this from IGN, man, I hate IGN. I hate them so much. I hate all of these journalists from these, at least the large organizations of journalism in gaming. I hate them all so much. Now, the smaller ones, I mean, you know, I can't really speak to them. I withhold my judgment. But even some of them, a lot of these journalists just do have an elitist mindset. It's just, it's sad, it's depressing, and sadly, they have a lot of time they do have the last say. They hate people like me, and you know what? I want them to, because, well, go fuck yourself, really, at the end of the day. But I just wanted to speak my mind on this subject. IGN took this down, as they should have, because they got ratioed to absolute hell, I'm pretty sure. And it is what it is on that front. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this video. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, or Kick if you'd like to continue the conversation. And guys, with all being said, I'm out. Peace.